Are you looking for a place to meet like-minded people? Perhaps you're a light worker looking for a safe place to share your thoughts and services. We've got a place for you, IntuiTalks.com. Join for free, post updates, blogs, create and join groups via website or radio or class package. The possibilities are endless. Join the all-spiritual, all-under-one-roof network, www.IntuiTalks.com.
Woohoo! Welcome everybody to the monthly Tarot Times. So we get all used to what's going on with the names of the shows. This is what it always was. This is the time slot it always was. And this is the day. Well, it's not the day. So I'll be doing this on the first of every month. And so, of course, it was always the first of every month that I would put these Tarot Times together. Now, I have moved it from Hangouts over to here. And I had stopped doing it. So this is how it's going to look. This is how it's going to be. The first of every single month, we will give you the month's forecast for all of the sun signs. Now, I don't want you to know at the beginning of the show, or if you are here, if you're live in show, you can let me know when I hit your sun sign. And if you wish, I can then personalise that for you, give you what that means for you specifically, not just what it means for everybody else. So let's get underway. It is not a tiny show. It is fairly substantial. So as we get under the way, we're starting with Libra. Happy birthday this month to the Librans out there. The main influence for you is your heart. That means your heart will be drawn towards things. You may feel a bit soft. The heartstrings, it's me. That was nice and quick, wasn't it? The heartstrings will be pulled. It'll be hard for you to step away from the emotional attraction of things as opposed to analysis. Not a problem necessarily. What to watch out for is demands. People demanding too much from you. You demanding too much from yourself, that kind of thing. Make sure that you know how to say no, and make sure also that if you've got a very high order or structure or perfectionism ideal for yourself, this isn't the best month to pop that out there. But also, because it's in the what to watch out for field, that can come from other people as well. It doesn't necessarily come from you, although it can. You may be demanding. So think about that a little bit. The strength that you've got this month is fortitude. That means you'll know how to stand your ground. Doesn't mean you're going to go out and fight for your ground, because you don't have to. Standing your ground and being strong, fortitude is the fort. It's the immutable wall. I don't have to convince you of what I want if I'm a Libra in this month. All I need to know as a strength is that I know it's right for me, and I won't need to actually enter into that trying to explain myself. Now, that feels like a nice strength to have this month. And the weakness this month is, ooh, shiny. So that means you'll be easily distracted, that if something looks good, and of course being led by the heart as a combination, it does mean you're going to likely just sort of go right or go left. Even if you have really good intentions, you might find it hard to sit on the straight and narrow this month. So kind of an interesting energy. Really, that one will usually bother other people more than anything. In other words, they'll want something from you, and you'll be distracted, or you'll listen to them, you'll go, yeah, and then within half an hour, something else has come up, something better's come up, something you'd rather do pops in there, and you're like, yeah, I'll just do what I want to do. Now, the fortitude, we've got the Knight of Pentacles here. The interesting thing about the fortitude card is it's about sticking with the mundane, getting things done, but it's also about just standing your ground. And so the Pentacles do radiate to that earth energy, that strength energy, but the Knight does like to have a goal. He's got somewhere to go. He's got something to do. He knows that this is the process he needs to do to get there. So there's a nice energy right in there. We've got the Hierophant, and the Hierophant, of course, is seeking higher wisdom, whether that's going to find it in a book, whether that's going to a person like myself or more, whether it's coming to shows like this to get higher knowledge or other knowledge, whether it's asking a friend. The Hierophant as an energy will be you asking. And so maybe a little bit of indecision in there, not that unusual for Librans. But when you ask those that have the expertise, that know, that leaves you in a better position to act or to make the best choices. We've got the Ace of Wands, and the Ace of Wands is always sort of a little bit directionless, but it's looking into the future. It's looking ahead and thinking, what am I going to do up there? You know, whatever is going on today is going to look a little bit less attractive than focusing on the future a little bit. The reverse Queen of Wands. Now, she's a home and hearth, taking care of herself, making sure that all of her things are in the right place. The Queen of Wands is very much that leonine energy where she really does what's best for her And if that happens to upset somebody else at some point, it doesn't matter. Because it's reversed, you may find yourself in a position where when you do upset somebody, or when you do put yourself first, there's that ooh shiny energy, I suppose. There may be repercussions for that this month. That doesn't mean that's an impossible thing, but do factor that in there. If you happen to know a Libra, this month it's a good time to not over-expect. That is to say, if they say they're going to do something, then give them the leeway. If they change their mind, don't get too upset. Or you might find yourself in a position where, you know, you're really putting pressure on a person who didn't really do anything to you per se. They were just doing what was best for them in the moment. So giving them a guilt trip probably isn't the wisest way to go. For you, Christy, this month in October, we're talking about, of course, I'm pretty sure you're there on the 1st by now. For this month for you, Christy, the biggest deal I've got is around a phone call or two. I've got these 2 phone calls or interactions that appear to be on the phone. That can be Facebook or it can be any other way that you interact. But because I got the phone, the chances are good it's either verbal or it's actually the phone, and it could be texting and so on. But I've got the phone word there. And I've just got that it's very easy for you this month to say yes to things that you're not really into. And, of course, I see you just turning around straight afterwards or within a very short period of time, determining to do something else or to not follow through. While that doesn't think about it before you put the commitment out there, before you just say yes to pay lip service or to get rid of somebody, you may find that you're not really going to enjoy the outflow of that. That's you personally. I've also got your mind wandering off into these far and distant places. The cosmos looks very attractive, all of these wonderful energies. So take note of your daydreams, take note of your dreams, take note of those things that help to show you what it is that you're more and would like in your life more. To enjoy going down the track. I don't think it's a really good month for you, Christy, to step into things, to sign contracts, to make agreements in the future, but it's certainly a month we're looking at it and then taking note of it, writing it down or putting it in your memory bank, storing it up for maybe later, a rainy day. It's a perfect month for that. But most, if not all commitments or some commitments that you might make this month, just you don't follow through or don't want to follow through on. So something to look out for, but not too bad a month for you at all, as October is your birthday month. I do hope you get lots of cake and looked after very, very well. Pisces, do remember, everybody, if your sun sign comes up, just pop "this is mine" down there and I will tell you what it means for you personally. Pisces need to watch out for hidden agendas. Now, if you know a Pisces, you need to think about that a little bit too. If you're going to approach them with hidden agendas, they've got this compassion in the past going on, so you could do some serious damage to your relationship if you're not careful. What to watch out for is temper, because it's in the what to watch out for zone. It may come from somebody else, not necessarily from you. So there may be a bit of volatility in the energy for you this month, Pisces. You may need to watch out for somebody else's temper. You may need to think twice too about racking somebody up, about goading somebody up if you don't want to have an altercation. We've got a few strong signs in here for you, so you do need to think about that. Your strength is compassion, so that gives you a moment where you can accept something on behalf of somebody else. That is to say, maybe this is, my moment to be compassionate is to let them get away with this right now. I can come back to it later, or I can see that they're struggling. I can see that they're getting angry. I had a reading earlier this week with a lady who'd had a reading where she'd asked about a boss, a figure that was in authority over her. Now, earlier on, I'd suggested she does watch out that he wanted to stamp his authority into that space, and she may need to watch how she spoke to him. Well, she did not take that on board. Although she heard it at the time, she went right in there, and they ended up in this big yelling match, and they've ended up in HR, and he's not going to get the discipline that she would like him to get, and so now she's in this very uncomfortable position. So do take notice that when tempers are flaring, we all have a role we can play. We can walk away. So just take that on board. If it's not you that's having the temper tantrum, Pisces, take it on board if it's your partner or somebody around you. If you see them walking up, step away. Use that compassion to give them the space that they might need. A weakness is the past. So when a weakness is a past for you, Pisces, that just means that you might reminisce quite a bit, have regrets, that kind of thing. Because we've got people with hidden agendas, you might struggle with trust, or any bad experience that you've had in the past may come to the fore and affect your relationships. We've got the Tower. Now, the Tower is always going to be about, if it's not a great, strong structure, it's going to start racking it up. It's going to start falling around. It's going to perhaps collapse. and this becomes inevitable if you haven't done what you needed to shore it up, to strengthen it. If you've created something that doesn't really sit well with you, you're just trying to stick with it. Pisces, this month you're going to feel like, well, there's no point in sticking with it. It's just broken. We've got a lot of analysis because we've got the King of Swords there. So while you're thinking, try and make that productive thinking. That energy is available to you. The King of Swords, though, can be very swift. Slicing and dicing, so other people may need to watch out. Again, if you know a Pisces, if your Pisces is your partner, your child, your parent, your boss, a co-worker, somebody that's in your life repeatedly or regularly, look for the signs, look for the red flags, because if you deal with people at their worst in the best possible way, then of course you don't damage relationships. You can build on them, you can strengthen them, and quite often they'll give that back to you when you need it. We've got the Knight. We love the Knight of Cups. Now the Knight of Cups, there's our compassion, I feel, because the Knight of Cups is very much from the heart, and so we need to have a look at that, because when he's coming from the heart, there's also a lack of reliability with that, I guess. So with the main influences being hidden agendas, watch out for people that want what they want and are prepared to say what they want to get what they want, but also watch out that you don't do that yourself, that you don't pay lip service to others to get what you want at their expense. And the Knight of Cups can carry that energy. He can be charming to get his own way, but not necessarily consider how that affects the other person. Now, we've got the reversed Eight of Wands, and the Eight of Wands is always about movement. When it's reversed, it does suggest that you might find yourself sort of pulled back a little bit, but I see this card radiating to the past. When we're pulled back in our movement, it's usually because we've got our eye on the anxieties, we've got our eye on the things that have gone wrong in the past, the things that may go wrong in the future, as opposed to what we would like for our future and how we would like to apply it. So that's you for Pisces for October. Now we moving right along to Sagittarius. Now, Sagittarius this month, even as I was writing this, as I was doing this and drawing the cards for them, I had some pretty big energy around you, Saggy. So it may be a little bit of a confusing month for you, and you may find that you feel like there's a lot going on, even if it's not a lot happening, if that makes sense for you at all. I've got the main influences travel, so you might find yourself anything from running around all over the place, all around town, running after the kids, running after whatever, to taking trips over weekends or day trips, or finding yourself hauled into drives or little journeys that you didn't necessarily expect. The word is travel, so not necessarily jobs and not necessarily basic stuff. So it may be one decent trip or one travel away, but it occupies the main influence of energy. So you'll be drawn to it. You may even just spend your time wafting through travel websites and enjoy looking for everywhere. Hiya, Michelle. I'd like to call in for Libra, please. Sure. You don't have to call in unless you'd like to. I can just pop you out there, and I'll go back to that right now. Hang on a minute. Sorry, because I don't want to go forward and back and get confused. So I'll have to go back here. Nice if you call it out when I'm saying it. That would be absolutely fantastic. So Michelle for Libra, did you want one too, Jennifer's Journey? I've seen the conversation. Sorry, but I didn't see you actually say you wanted personalised. It's up to you. It's not compulsory. So Michelle, Libra for you this month, that energy, I do feel like an outpouring of the heart for you. Straight after this, Jennifer, an outpouring of the heart for you, so I can see a potential to really bond a relationship or to stand your ground where it really matters, where there's a passionate moment for you in relationships. You may have found that something's been a bit of a struggle, and you find the impetus to just say, this is how I feel about that. And that's your heart and the fortitude working together. And I would suggest it comes from somebody else's demands on you, that you've sort of like given way, you've given over to them, you've sort of gone along, and now it's kind of become a thing, and it's now and again it's irritating you, or it's irritating you a lot. So I can see you stepping forward and having this moment where you just go, you know what, that doesn't really work for me. I'm finding I'm really struggling with it. Whatever, you come from the heart, you say your piece, and you get a really nice result from that, by the way. So you would wish maybe that you had done it earlier, but doing it isn't going to hurt you at all. But it almost, I can feel it just going, bleh. It had to come out. There was no, I think I'm going to say this, or planning it. It just comes out. That works quite nicely. We've also got with you, I've got the idea and the impression that some of the fortitude that we're looking at here hits you in maybe two different areas. It could be around career and family sector, but I've got you just feeling like, I know what I want here, and so I'm going to pop myself into a position where that is what I get. Now, I don't see the results of that particular energy paying you off this month, but I do see it coming back and giving you what you need further down the track, which feels really nice. And this is totally aside from that, but I keep feeling this necklace. I can feel it either giving me a rash, or it's pulling on my neck, or I've got this pulling anyway that feels like a necklace or jewelry pulling on my neck, and it's either irritating it. If it is, take it off, don't wear it anymore, or get a different chain, or get something else that your body doesn't mind, or actually it's moving in such a way, or getting pulled. If you have a child, getting pulled maybe. I'm just feeling that, so not necessarily dire. Jennifer, for your Libra this month, for you, the energy I've got is more around the demands. I get you stretching yourself very thin, like very thin. I get this little wee line, and each time I say the word very thin, I look at it and it gets narrower and narrower and narrower, and I'm like, oh, very thin, and then I want to say another very, very thin. So you may need to really, really watch that and think about prioritizing, time management. What matters, what doesn't? Who are you prepared to hurt? I know that sounds terrible, but if you do need to say no to somebody, clearly you choose the least important thing, not necessarily the least important person, but the least important thing. And think, too, about how you want your time to be spent this month. Or, for you, Jennifer, I feel it just disappearing, gone, and nothing that you wanted to achieve gets achieved. It seems to be everybody else's stuff, and then you're at the end of the month thinking, what the hell, it's November, and I still haven't got that going, and we're heading down to Christmas. That kind of energy around you big time through October. But I don't have that fortitude really pushing and driving for you, so you may need to work that if you want to do it. But it is there. That energy is there as a strength. So it's a good time to practice with the right people, of course, or the right situation, saying, I'd love to be there for you, but at the moment I just don't have that level of time. I don't have that level of commitment. I can't do that. It's a really good time for clearing the air. By the way, this October, brilliant for clearing the air. So it's a wonderful thing for Librans to be able to step into that energy. Now, for you, I don't so much see the ooh shiny, more just as the demands are there, you feel yourself drawn from one place to the next. So it's a little bit of a challenge for you, I think. And it feels tricky. It feels like you have to really think about how you deal with those demands and make it work. But I also feel that if you don't, you could be looking at quite a long time of having to deal with it in a way that you don't necessarily want to. You're most welcome, Michelle and Jennifer. Sagittarius, back to you. The travel energy is there. In and out a lot, running around a lot, or actually taking a trip. That kind of thing for you is quite a big deal. What to watch out for is opposition. So you may find it's not the best time to go for that raise if that's what you're looking for. It's not necessarily the best time to put a new idea out into. Hello, Dolores. I'll get to you as soon as I've finished the general. Thank you for putting it out there. Now I'm looking at that card, the Knights, and I'm thinking, how did that get all wiggly there? The opposition is actually a challenging energy, so it means that you'll say something and somebody will come back at you, rather than it being comfortable and simple and everyone's upset around you. Oh, good for you. Then they can get over it, can't they? They can prove that you love me. Get over it. But you need to, fortitude is standing your ground. It doesn't mean saying it and then giving way later, right? Just so as we're clear, Missy. So we've got opposition. And opposition means, too, that it's not necessarily the best time to put works out there. Anything that you need cooperation for, anything that you're working with somebody else for, if you want to plan it, great stuff, but it's not probably the best month in October to put it out there. You could expect that to sort of have a pushing energy against you. So you might feel like it's a bit of a hard work month. And opposition isn't always verbal in people. It can be just things are against me, the timing's wrong, this goes bad, just like the techie issue the other night for Witches Britches. It was just during our show, just as before it was due to start and just after it was supposed to be halfway through, the whole site's down, then it's up again. So sometimes, opposition is about energy, not just individuals or people. And while the energy is like that, you may find yourself pushing up against someone else. Yeah, I said no. Dorothy will come and deal to you. She'll come and make you eat spinach. There's the strength you're going to have, Sagittarius, Dolores as well, I suppose, is listening, but not just listening. I got listening, hearing. So listening and then hearing to me suggests, you know how there's times you can hear something, somebody will say it again, or you've heard it from different people over a number of years, and then all of a sudden you hear it, and you're going, oh my God, and then you're sprouting it, and then you see the people that told you this already over years or months or weeks or whatever, or even days, and when you're relating that to them, oh my goodness, I just got that, and they say it, and you can see the look on their face, and you find yourself saying, I know you told me this, but I just got it. I know you told me this, I just got it. And so there's that kind of energy around you at this moment, whether it's for your own development or whether it's because you've been getting a sign or a message for a while and haven't taken it for what it actually means. You know, we do misunderstand them at times. So it's kind of an interesting thing. When we get a sign, I mean, we can apply it to what feels right in the moment or what we recognize right now. One of the weakest areas of receiving a reading or information is that actually the almost irresistible urge to fit it into something you know already today rather than allow it to be something you don't know about just yet. The amount of times a person does that is phenomenal, and that's the same with signs. That's the same with spirit message. If a person's wailing for love, for example, every message they get, they will apply it to love, even though it's got nothing to do with it. And sometimes you have to bring them back to the fact that it's not about that, but they'll go away and they'll still think it's about love till what it is about fronts up, and then they'll go, oh, that's what that was. Okay. So it's an interesting energy, listening, hearing. That makes it a power month, by the way, when you have this, because when we are listening and when we do hear, we are in a position to act differently. We're in a position to take on something new. We're in a position to grow. We've got the weakness as negative thinking, so you may need to watch that, Sagittarius, this month. If you have a tendency to drop into a warrior against negative thinking, there we go. If you've got a tendency to drop into the, it's useless, I've tried this in the past, or something just hasn't sort of started to pay off yet, hasn't started to reap its rewards, you may find yourself dipping into that nothing ever works for me mentality, that kind of thing. It's not uncommon for all of the sun signs, but it's a bit of a weakness for Saggies this month. We've got the world. Now, the world is, of course, that travel, no doubt about it. But it also means we can have options with that. So you may find that you've got a choice of whether you want to go large and travel to a different state or a different city to visit somebody you care about that you haven't seen for a while, or your choice is I may want to do that, but I also want to do this. You may want to just go out for a weekend with the girls, whatever, or boys, whatever it might be. So the World card is there, which says you'll have options. You've got the tools, you've got the ability, so you'll be able to do that. The Judgment card, now that's karma, right? So again, this is that opposition thing that we really need to take note of, and it's, I think, definitely when we have karmic experiences, they're listening, hearing. So if something's beating back against you constantly, you've got a few questions. The first one is, should I give this up? And that should always be on the table. Have I devoted too much energy to this that I'm not capable of, that for whatever reason it's the wrong time of the century? The most successful or fast, speedy success stories are all about the right timing. They bring something to the table at the right time when everybody else wants it, and then they get in first. They make their splash, and then they separate and step out again. It's a fascinating thing. So karma is always a good indicator of what we need to listen to, but also it's an exercising of good judgment. We can no longer pretend that we didn't know. It's one of those It's one of those energies that basically says to us, we're adults, we're mature, we know that if we do this, that will happen, and we can't pretend we don't know. We can't blame the universe. We can't blame everybody else. We can't blame the policeman for picking us up for speeding, that kind of energy. We've just got to admit it. Now, we've got the Knight of Swords now. It's action, 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 action. So that's possibly into the travel as well, but the swords are always going to bring opposition with them. When you fire ahead with something, when you go tally-ho, you may have some fences to jump, and there's that opposition. But the beautiful energy of the twins, the Knight of Swords here, is that they don't stop for anything. They're double trouble. They go in both barrels. They're firing all their guns. I've got a metaphor for every single moment of this. And, of course, as they do that, they're sharing the same horse. So it's also about teamwork. It's also about moving through something, knowing that you have energy in play with you. You're not a solo, you're not an island. And then we've got the Ten of Pentacles in there, which is about appreciation more than anything. Now, I often see this card read as abundance. Well, when you read it as abundance for somebody who hasn't got abundance, they go, yeah, even though they've got love in their life and all the rest. So it's about appreciation. appreciating what you've got, appreciating the family, appreciating what you've earned already, appreciating what you've accumulated, what you've put out into the world. All of those things is what the Ten of Pentacles is around. Now, it's a lovely energy because it's contentment. When we appreciate our lives and we appreciate what's in it, it doesn't mean we have to appreciate the bad things, just saying. But when we do appreciate the good things in our lives, then, of course, what happens is we feel content, at least for a period of time. So it's a wonderful energy. For you, Dolores, the Sagittarius energy specifically for you, you've already said that you'll be doing the traveling, so I'll let that slide because I'm not going to pretend you didn't type that. But I have got you finding that there's I get this little frustration. I want to purse my lips. I want to go, because I get this little frustrations that you'll turn around to maybe write an article and then the internet's too slow or you drop off or whatever. Now I get you wanting to talk to somebody about something and you can't get in touch with them for days, and then the impetus drops off. So that's the opposition feeling that I've got for you. Tends to be a little bit more energetic, although I do see there's a few people involved in that as well. So you may find yourself not so much coming to loggerheads with people, but just wanting to step back and looking at them and thinking, it's not my job to convert you, convince you. It's your job to go seek. It's my job to live my life, kind of a thing. So it's an interesting month for you from that. But I do see some frustrations around you. So as those frustrations come, I think it's just a practice this October of just walking away. Just going, okay, if that's not working, if the internet's not working, if I can't get in touch with that person, I'll just let it be, rather than keeping on trying and getting more frustrated, feeling like that you're running behind the 8 ball because everything you try, the timing seems to be a little bit off, that sort of stuff. So only for October, if you can get through October, I feel it's settling and sweeping in. So that's for you, Dolores. I feel that's how that energy will play out. We move on to Scorpio. Any Scorpios in the house? Now's the time to say. So Scorpio, you're so welcome. Scorpio, the main influence is planning, and it's like there's plans around everything. You're going to feel like you're locked in because you either have to plan things or the bigger deals, and you've got to fall into somebody else's plans, that kind of stuff. What to watch out for? Errors in judgment. Now, when you've got that, Scorpio, it can be a nasty thing. So watch out for errors in judgment. So you may feel like your intuition is spot on this month, but unfortunately you may find that you're not. And that's always a hard or bitter pill to swallow, because you may feel like you're let down, but I'm always reminded of the card that didn't come up in the drawer. I'm always reminded of the betrayal. We've got the 5 of Cups where there's the spilt cups. And the whole point of that is that betrayal doesn't come from the person betraying you or that you feel betrayed you. It comes from your expectation of that person. Now, there's nothing wrong with expectation. It's normal and natural, but sometimes we expect too much of another person, or we're expecting something from them they were never going to give us from the start. Now, I believe we're all pretty savvy and we kind of know that. So we're really more than anything disappointed or feel betrayed by the fact that we hoped they would change. Hear those words. Hope they would change. Hope that they would come up to the play, because the truth of acknowledging that they might not is that they are not for us, especially if there's love involved. It's not the job for us. It's not the person for us. It's not the friend for us. It's not the person to align yourself with. If they're not playing their part, they're not doing their thing, then you're going to feel let down. Those kind of things. So this month, errors in judgment will haunt you a little bit. So you can try and circumvent that by just slowing things down and not assuming somebody will live up to your expectations or that they'll be there simply because they said they would. If you know they're a bit unreliable to start with, it's time to accept that. When we've got this whole energy of accepting, I mean, I've heard this so many times over the last 20 years, accept me for who I am. Well, stuff that, people. If you want me to accept you for what you are, if you want to be accepted for who you are, then you're telling everybody around you that they have to change to accommodate you. It's very self-serving. So while there is an accepting, and you need to accept a person for who they are as a very core personality, you also need to acknowledge that, we all need to step up and make changes and adjustments and move and shift to accommodate other people. When that's a two-way equation, it's pretty good. So Scorpio, I don't see that necessarily working well for you this month. Strength is in your communication. Now, it's not often your very strength, but if it's your strength this month, then it's the strength that you can really move with. You can really use communication skills to get what you want, to get things sorted out, to move things along. As a weakness, your reliability, your own reliability, because we've got the main influence is planning and we've got reliability as a weakness, that just means that planning is absolutely demanded of you. You will need to really focus on planning. Now, main influences are a monthly energy influence. That means that it'll keep cropping up. You know, I didn't plan this correctly, or I missed that phase of the journey, that kind of thing. Think about it. Think about what you're doing. What's the next step kind of energy of planning. We've got the we've got the hermit. Now, the hermit knows what they need to do. They don't need a pat on the back to tell them they're good at what they do. So it's a very self-sufficient month. It's a month where you can just mosey on along, and you don't need people patting you on the head, telling you that they love you. While that's all very nice, this month you just feel pretty much in your own person. It's a really nice thing, comfortable in your own skin. We've got the star, which of course is hope. You need to possibly, because of the error in judgment, the hope, the star becomes a bit of a challenging card, because while you can't see that something's going to work out, hoping that something's going to work out could be your downfall. That's like somebody saying they're going to come and be at a particular place at a particular time, and you need them to be, but you know they're always late. That kind of energy. Don't be hoping that one day they'll be on time. It won't happen. We've got the Five of Wands, and the Five of Wands is about the dragon of reality. That is to say, there's that whole, there's life. This is what I want to do. This is where I want to be. But life just isn't letting that happen. You know, the lights go on red. It doesn't matter how much I want to get to the next stage in the next 5 minutes. It's not going to happen, because the next 5 sets of lights are going to be red. It doesn't matter how much I want something. I have to work through and around the reality of life, other people, other things, obstacles. But it doesn't feel like the Sagittarius. It's not pushing against you. It's just, this is what it is. If you start racing too fast, you find yourself at the intersection with the big truck. Whereas if you were cruising, you might have got there 5 minutes after he'd gone. It's a real powerful energy. This dragon of reality is where we get quite upset at times that things aren't going our way, and we start to think about giving it up. We start to think, maybe it's just a waste of time. Should I give up? I would suggest that this month, think about this planning. Really, really pay attention to it. Now, we've got the reversed King of Swords. Now, we all know the Scorpion's got the wee tail thing going on, and so this is one that says, again, quick to strike, not necessarily thinking things through. So the main influence being planning doesn't mean you're good at it this month. It means that's the energy, and you will regret it if you don't do it. So that's you, Scorpio. I didn't get anybody jumping up and saying they were Scorpio. Nope, we're moving along. Taurus, it's all about change. The main influence this month for October is change. Now, you're not so comfortable with change all the time. Some Taurians are, point in case. But, you know, there's the changes in the wind and the changes in the air, and you're going to feel that. Now, there's going to be change. There's going to be things and structural things changing, moving, shifting for you. You can have an active role in that. You can push that forward. What to watch out for? Golden opportunities. While that sounds positively wonderful, it's easy to get a little disillusioned or to get into your habits, not being prepared for change, and then starting to hold, right? And then you miss golden opportunities. So that's what to watch out for. What to watch out for is if you see the golden opportunity and you take it, the word golden, it's not just opportunities. It really came through strongly, but you can also miss those. That's why you've got to watch out for them. Strengths, turning bad to good. So taking something that looks challenging, something that looks impossible, something that looks hard, taking something that looks bad, something that starts off looking kind of negative, and then turning it into something really positive and good. It's that kind of energy where after you've done that, you sit there and you go, wow, I did not think this could turn out this well. So things may, during October, not look so good to start with. And this energy, very often for everybody listening, can have already started in the previous month. There isn't a line for the month, but it's the main flow of energy into October, and it may, you know, move a little bit further than that. So turning bad into good is your strength, and your weakness is nesting. Now, when we've got change and nesting, they're opposites. Kabam. That's like, oh my gosh, I can go out there and I can do this, but I'd really rather just sit in my chair. Very Taurian energy. Really just rather sit in my chair and just, you know, chat away. So think about that if you've got the urge to let that go, you could lose that golden opportunity. There's kind of a complex energy in there. Now, here we've got the letting go. We've got the Eight of Cups. Let it go. Let go what you're holding on to the past, letting go of your stuff. If it's stuff, letting go of the sameness of your life. In October, that will reward you to let it go, because we've also got the Tower. It's going to fall down. So you might as well move with the change and be part of the road building process, not just part of it's happening to me, I'm responding to the changes as somebody else creates them. We've got a reversed Seven of Wands. Now, this is inner conflict, so your mind might be all over the place for a wee while. You may be anxious about change, and I don't doubt that would be the case. You may be anxious about whether things will work out. But here we've got that golden opportunity slipping on in there, so you may need to calm and quiet your mind. It's a busy mind in here. It's almost tragedy. I want to write a Shakespeare play around those three cards alone. You know, we've got the Eight of Cups, the Tower, and we've got the reversed Seven of Wands. It's like, Having said that, they're not anxious cards. There are a lot going on in the mind. And then, of course, we've got the reversed Empress, and she's about the nesting. Because she's reversed, it won't work for you this month. Nesting isn't a bad energy, but it's not the month to be doing that. It's the month to step out. It's the month to say yes. That's how you get golden opportunities. You say yes. If you find yourself saying no, no, no to things that don't seem quite what you want or not good enough, and you look back and you see a whole lot of no's in there, you are the block. You are the doorway. You are the closed door. So open, open, open. So that's you, Taurus. I've got nobody Taurus stepping up, so we'll let that fly and move on to Virgo. Virgo, it was mentioned to me the other day by Jenny, actually, and she's, poor old Virgo, they've been getting a bad rap, and I've been like, who by? And then I realised, actually, I've been giving them a bad rap almost for a year, and that's the truth, not me giving them a bad rap, but they've had a bit of a struggle. They've had a bit of a problem coming to terms with things for quite a while now. But here we've got that they can use team efforts. They're not necessarily good team players, but now in October, team efforts are going to be the main influence. That means, Virgos, you will have people offering to help you out. Say yes. You will have people suggesting that you could work together, be a team. You can form partnerships. Team efforts include partnerships, jobs, all of those areas. Those are the main influences for your month. You want to watch out for authority, because you may not respond too well to an authority figure or authority in general, but watch out for it, because somebody will try and stamp authority on you. This can be anything from legal papers. This can be anything from being served, subpoenas. It can be court speeding, getting a ticket, police addressing you, wanting to know something, lawyers, stuff like that, contracts, anything like that where somebody else may have some power over you. Because it's what to watch out for, you do need to deal with that in a proper manner. If you haven't paid for something like your power or whatever for a while, and you know the crunch is coming, put some money in there, do something, or the authority will come down upon you. Strength is insight. You know it's coming. So when your strength is insight, use it. Don't be going, I don't want to hear that, even though I've seen it, I'm going to ignore it. Use it. And when you use something, even if it looks challenging, you are the one that can steer around things. We've got the weaknesses, emotional swings. So I wanted to put mood swings, but then I really got strongly, no, this is emotional swings. So you may find yourself feeling almost bipolar, being all up 1 minute and all down the next. You may find yourself swinging from being happy, laughy to watching the toilet paper ad and starting to have a wee cry. So emotional swings. If you happen to be a woman and you happen to be menopausal, think about ways to stabilize that, because there are ways to stabilize that. We've got the sun. There's a lot of optimism around you. So things like team efforts look really good. So looking for the brighter side, but of course understanding too that if you see something that's not so bright, you can work with that. You can work around that. You can take that as insider trading kind of information. When you get the insider info, you can head something off at the pass, or you can address it before the other person comes at you. We've got the Knight of Wands as well. Now, there's been a whole lot of wands through this whole month, so I will talk about that in a wee while. At the end, we've got the Knight of Wands. Now, the Knight of Wands is wonderful. It's the Dragon Slayer. He's George. He's out there, boom, but he's not stupid. He's got Pegasus. There's your team player. Pegasus lifts him up and takes him wherever he wants to go. He could not complete his tasks. He could not do what he needs to do without Pegasus. So be very aware that energy is around you. So if you say to somebody this month, I was thinking of, the chances are really good they'll come back to and say, well, actually, I can help you with that. Okay, whether it's getting a ride down the road, whether it's forming a business, doesn't matter how big or small you're going, whether it's needing an extra $50 or needing an extra $5,000, by saying the words to the right person, by looking for team input, you will find that you have exactly that. You can form a nice, strong bond. We've got the King of Wands. Now, the King of Wands is selling ideas. The King of Wands is always the ideas person. It's the inventive person. So that makes sense for you. With emotional swings, when you're feeling inventive, when you're feeling all creative, and you want other people to go along with that, it's a nice energy. I've got nothing negative to say about that with this month and this month's energy. It's very much being in charge of knowing that actually you can charm the birds out of the tree in October, Virgo, which is a really nice change for you, I think, for the last wee while. Now, we've got the Two of Cups. The Two of Cups is seeing other people's point of view. That would probably be the biggest damage. Now, it can be arguments. The Two of Cups is very often arguments. It's where two people have two different aspects of view and they just don't sort of see the other person, but it can be reunions as well. So where you've got that energy, allow yourself the insight to see where the other person's coming from. Remember what insight is. Insight is not intuition. Insight is understanding. It's comprehension. It's knowing, that person's saying that and being like that because they are hurting right now, not because they think I'm stupid, not because they don't like me or don't love me. It's because they are feeling bad. So it's understanding that and working towards that. We've got no Virgo stepped up today, so we're moving right along to Aquarius. Now, Aquarius, as I started doing Aquarius, if you know an Aquarius and they've got a something they want you to invest in or there's something they want to work towards, actually just kind of step away. So if you've got a boss that you're thinking, and they're Aquarius, and you're thinking you might like to ask them for a wage rise, not this month, don't be doing it. Aquarius are just going to be a little bit about themselves this month. So the main influence is opportunity, but it's personal opportunity. It kept it feeling it coming towards them, not coming from them. What to watch out for is missteps. And again, when you only see yourself in the equation, when the world revolves around you, like a baby, if you like, unfortunately, you can take the wrong steps into the wrong direction and you can find yourself falling over. This is October, so watch out for that. Now, other people can do it too, so be aware that you might be easily offended or easily offending. How's that? That's the best way with missteps. And then misstep is something that you need to correct. It's not something that's irreversible. The strength is industry. You're going to be the worker this month. You're just going to get things done. There's going to be no stopping you with that. Your weakness is self-indulgence. You put the opportunity and self-indulgence together, and it could be that you'll say yes to something without talking to the partner, and the partner will get upset. It's that kind of energy. You may find that if you've got an Aquarius in your life, they're going to do it to you. They're going to go and say, I've bought that car for $20,000. Why did you spend $10 on a pair of jeans? That kind of energy. It's inequitable energy. So watch out for that this month. Now, if you're not sure about your Aquarius that's in your life, and this is why do take notice of those other people that are in your life. If you're not sure about that Aquarius that's in your life and you've got the sneaking suspicion they're going to head off and do something, because usually we've got an idea, they're not good at keeping secrets, it might be a really good time for you to address that and say, look, I know we haven't talked about this and we should, so that everybody's on the same page. So nothing's written in stone, or the energy is there, but how you handle it is entirely down to how much you want to take charge of your own month, of your own life, of the people in your life in relation to you. Now, we've got a reverse Six of Pentacles. I'm laughing because this is that. We're not giving anything up. Aquarius is hanging on to it this month. They're not going to be prepared to run around after you. They're not going to be prepared to give way. So do take that on board. Not that it's not always there, but we've also got this feeling threatened card. We've got the Four of Pentacles, that feeling jealous, feeling threatened, feeling that there's a lot of competition around. So you put those two together and you might find that your Aquarian, who's often very generous, is looking a little bit miserly, or they are being a little bit snaky, a little bit snarky about those. Now, we've got the upright Seven of Wands, so there's an inner conflict for you there, Aquarius. That's thoughts going on in your mind. You may be worrying about somebody in your life having an affair. This is the misstep side of things. You may be concerned that they're flirting with somebody. You may be concerned that people are talking behind your back. You may this month be concerned that people are just not dealing with you in the way that you want them to. Please note opportunity. We've got the Queen of Cups, and she's always going to be the intuitive, the psychic, but she's also got that Cancer properties. She's also got the properties of flow and energy. So she's very mobile. She's very fluid. You can use that energy to work between these other three more difficult energies and allow you to work through your month. The other alternative for you, Aquarius, is to just go fishing. and stay there. Just stay there. And if you know an Aquarius, I would just step a little lightly this month and be very communicative. You want to know what's going on with them this month, or they're not going to like you very much. Aries, the main influence we've got is distraction. If you've got an Aries in your life and you want something from them, I think you're going to find that pretty hard work, even a conversation. You know, they'll be eating dinner, looking at the TV, and you'll be talking about something really important that just yesterday they were really happy to talk about, or even said to you, we need to talk about this, and suddenly you can't get their ear. So the distraction's definitely there. What to watch out for? Getting lost. And when I got those words, I thought, what does that mean, getting lost? And I was actually getting lost, driving the wrong way down the street, and maybe that's the distraction as well. Not paying attention to the tom-tom. I don't know if you have tom-toms, but, you know, to the GPS. Not necessarily looking where you're going, that kind of thing. Getting lost also could come down to banging into doorways if they're not going very far. You can't get lost in your own home. But banging into doorways, I've just got this directional issue with them. If you are and do have a male Aries and he happens to be driving and he happens to be, you've got the map in front of you, you've got a fight on your hands. Kaboom, right there. So you may need to just say, there you go, you do it, and let that go. Think about that quite a bit. Now, because it's what to watch out for, it's also something that you may do while the Aries is there, and they will not let you forget it. So getting lost is going to be key. Because it's what to watch out for, that zone can come from somebody else. That can also be somebody saying to you, you know, this is the way you go, and you follow them, especially if they're Aries, right? You follow what Aries told you to do, go this way, and then you find yourself in the wrong spot. And it's like, hang on a minute, you said go left, go right. No, I didn't tell you that, because that's what they're going to be like. Because they're distracted, don't trust them to give you directions at the moment. And if they happen to be driving, carry a nice big fat club, Jennifer. Kaboom! That will fix you. Into the elbow, okay? No bruising on the face. Straight into the elbow. Make it a fairly sort of soft, solid one. And make sure that they are listening. But it's not worth the argument. They're going to be in Mars mode, and it will be an argument probably. The strength is investment. Hiya, that's all good. If we get to your sun sign, just say so, Karine, and then we'll read what that means for you in the coming months. So we've also got investment as a strength. Now, that means if they want to buy a house, if you want to buy a car, whatever, anything that's a larger investment. And that's time if you want to commit to a large project. If you're a contractor, if you want to sign a contract, that's all investment. And I see that being a strong, strong energy for you in October, Aries. So it's a really good time to get a project underway. It's a really good time to buy those shares if that's what you're thinking of. Or if you are looking around for a house, try and get that whole operation signed through the October month, because you'll make the best decisions this month for that kind of thing, from financial investment and time investment. The weakness is not listening. So now I've got getting lost and not listening, and I'm seeing, we're seeing a theme there, right? And so for anybody that's involved with an Aries, just take note of that energy. And if it looks like they're going around in circles, step away from them. Let them go around in circles and you wander off where you think you're going to go. The 8, and just don't believe a word they say about which direction to take. You know, they wouldn't have checked it out properly. The 8 of Pentacles. This is about accumulation. This is where the investments come up. That means whatever they've got, you can take the savings and they can put it into, fantastic, Karine. You can put it into a financial stable, whatever one person wants to put their money. At the moment, the Aries will do really, really well. So if you know the Aries and you've got the money and you may have had the idea, give them their head this month. Let them just do it, because they will be on the money. They're not going to listen to you anyway. So your input will not be of any value at all. We've got the 2 of Swords there. They're not listening. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to know about it. They just don't want the hassle this month. They just want to be very focused on where they're going. And we've got the Ace of Wands to prove that. Because they've got that insight into the future, that ability to see exactly, without even knowing they're doing it, kadunk, 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 this is how that's going to go. They'll just feel really good about it for some of them. Others will actually have an analysis to show. But we've got that reward card there. Look at that. We've got that on top of all of those. I'm saying, it's just time for you, Aries, to make a bit of a splash. Now, depending on how much you can invest, depending on how you do that, it can be anything from buying that cheap house that turns into a massive profit in a very short period of time, and nobody else is interested in it. And this is where your strength will really, really be this month, is that you will see what other people don't see. And so when you choose that moment, it'll be the right time. When you choose that property, it'll be the right property. When you see that investment going down, 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 and everybody's going, oh, no, don't buy it just yet because it's going to go down further, you'll buy it at the best possible price without necessarily risk. And very quickly you're going to see the return for that. The reward will be there very, very fast. So, oh, yeah, la. So hang out with the Arians and keep your ear to the ground. Ask them for the tips on the horses. Did you know my two younger children, their dad's an Arian, and he knew how to make money. There's no doubt about that. But we were sitting at a pub one day. This is a really long time ago. I was 32. We're sitting at the pub one day, and the TV's on. There's horse races. Now, neither of us ever bet on the horse races. Once a year, you go to the Melbourne Cup or whatever, but that's your lot, and it's very social. So we're sitting there, and he goes, number 9's going to win. And we have a bit of a laugh. And we didn't put a bet on it. And number 9 won. And it's like, yeah, okay, that can happen. The next 2 races after that, 3 races, one after the other, number 9 won. Okay? We never forgot that. And I don't like him these days, and I don't talk to him, but I know he's never forgot that because that was like one of those moments. And one of those horses paid $24. It was a rank outsider. So it's an interesting thing. So when an Arian is on, they're on. Okay? Now, I know they can have the pipe dreams and the big ideas, but they're prepared to work to get what they want. So I'm spending a lot of time on Aries this month because I want them to have the confidence. I want you to have the confidence, Aries, to go for it this month and take a little bit of a risk because just trust your instincts. And I know you're not going to let anybody else's input, but nobody else's input will really help. So kind of a big energy for you. Cancer. Now, the main influence for you this month is relationships. That'll be families, that'll be partnerships, friendships. It doesn't matter. It's not good or bad necessarily. But what I've got there is that there's a lot of emphasis on those. That means people that you are involved with will be wanting to reiterate, will be wanting to get your attention, will be wanting you to show that you care. It's nice, the Mythic Tarot. What to watch out for? Minor accidents with Cancer. I've just got little things. Jackie, gotcha. Little things like, banging toes, cutting fingers, silly little things is what it felt like. It was just like, bugger, I knew better, that kind of energy. Chopping your tip of your finger off or nearly chopping it off because you're doing the onions too fast or not paying attention or you look up at the wrong time or you bang into something. So very minor accidents, but it feels really annoying this month. So just take that on board. Strength is seeing ahead. So when that's a strength for Cancer, that's powerful stuff. Cancer has a tendency to err on the side of caution. So when you can see ahead very clearly, it's the only times ever that you get clear impetus. That is, this is what I'm going to do. Boom. Because once you set that path, you will stay on it for quite a long time, no matter what that is. The weakness this month will be being present, so I expect daydream. Just mind wandering off. You'll be watching your favorite show and you'll have to rewind it half a dozen times because your mind wandered off or whatever. Something caught your eye. So it's not an all shiny thing. It's just not quite there, So you're, yes, dear, but you haven't heard a thing kind of energy. But the 8 of Cups, again, there's a letting go energy. Letting go is a powerful thing for you in October because when I put this card down, the very first thought I had was, ooh, that's going to be something big. So for all of you Cancerians out there, whatever hurt or whatever something you've been hanging on to, and it can be a dream, isn't always necessarily negative. There's a moment, though, in all our lives that our age, our circumstances, the way we've moved forward in our life dictates that we let something go. Sometimes we have to let go of being single to be married, right? Sometimes we have to let go of independence to have children or even to get a cat or a dog. Please note I don't have either because it curbs my independence. It stops me from being able to do what I want to do. But then you may have had a dream for years and years since you were 10 or 15 or 20 to go overseas and travel around the world. Now you've had 3 kids and you're kind of stuck till, the year 5064, till you're 190 years old, and you know that, the finances now are not looking so hot for that. Now, instead of going, okay, I'm resenting not being able to do that, or I'm annoyed with myself, I should have done that, you can let all of that go and just put it there as like, actually, it's still a desire of mine. We'll see how we go later because clearly I've made all of these other choices first. Wonderful energy for you this month in that. Now, we've got that damned if I do, damned if I don't energy. It's quite a powerful energy because what we've got there is that whole idea of it doesn't matter what I say, it doesn't matter what I do, somebody's going to be unhappy. It's not going to go particularly well. I really just put that basically in the minor accidents something. Doesn't matter if you go fast, doesn't matter if you go slow. Things will still go a little bit wrong with these minor accidents. So I just don't think that's like a big mind energy. It feels more like that. We've got the Page of Cups. Now, the Page of Cups is about seeing oneself, looking at oneself, one's image, that kind of thing. It can be a bit dozy. Do I get away with saying dozy? I didn't say you, Jackie. This is just for general Cancerians. And that's that being present. It's a bit difficult to be present when you're looking at your reflection. Everything else kind of waves off into the background. So the question around that is, how long we can do it. It's an energy we must visit at some point, that we look at ourselves. And I've mentioned this a lot around self-healing and around spiritual development, that it can become quite the thing, that you spend so much time focusing on yourself that actually the rest of your real life sort of starts to fade off into the distance a little bit. It doesn't carry as much of that wonderful energy as it should. So something to think about, and that's being present. And then we've got the reversed, reverse Seven of Cups. And the problem with that is the Seven of Cups is about manifestation. It's about, you can sit there and say, I put this out to the world, Cancer, but you didn't, if you didn't follow it with some action. You can't say, I'm sitting in my room and I'm looking at my computer and I'm hoping somebody will knock on the door and give me a job. There's got to be something you do to get that job. Answer the ad, go out and get it. That's what the Seven of Cups is about. It's saying prayer is all well and good, but what are you going to do? You're challenged to manifest something on the planet. Because it's reversed, this is going to be a bit of a frustration for you. It's going to be a bit of a challenge for you, or you'll look at it and you'll be thinking, it's just never going to happen. There's that feeling around, it's just never going to happen. And I want to diagonal that with something to let go. So you may need this month to take note of what those things are. They may be minor, they may just hit your mind now and again, or they may be regular visitors at late nights and early mornings, meditations and, I don't know, doodles. So it might be time to just sit there and go, well, actually, I'm always doing that and it's not giving me back what I want. It might be time to forget that and do things differently. For you, Jackie, specifically, the energy that I've got is really around being present. I've just got this whole idea that you can get off into your own mind this month quite significantly, and that people around you may feel like they've got to work hard to not get you to do what you need to do, but to get your attention. So you're almost on autopilot, I guess, is the best way I can put that. Just doing it. And losing that depth of experience because of it, which is a little bit interesting. So that's specifically to you. Around your minor accidents for you specifically, I've got you dropping things, maybe losing things, maybe losing a couple of bucks here and there, maybe losing your purse, but I've got you finding them. There's that minor aspect to it. I've got everything that you lose, you find, but it's almost like you're turning around and so, where did I put that? Where are my glasses? Where's this? What did I do with the kids? What did I do with everything? Where is my house? It's that kind of energy of misplacing for you. And just sort of, but the word dropping keeps coming in, and that's in that minor accidents frame. Just dropping things or dropping them down. And I'm over 40, I do that every day. Really? I'm over 50, I'm nearly 60, and I don't. So let's not use the age as an excuse. 40? No, sorry. So it's that energy around you in particular this month. I do see you finding pretty much everything you drop, but I'm not so sure about that it's much more than frustrating. Anyway, so that's what I've got for you there. I think Jackie's the only Cancer. I've got one more thing, actually, that I better put out there for you, Jackie, which may not necessarily be relevant to this. I've got somebody really getting in your ear, either really nagging you or putting a lot of pressure on you, or at the very least, the things that they're saying that you're hearing from them is unpleasant for you. You're not enjoying it, whoever this person is. So that might be part of the letting go thing for you, actually, might be to just go, we don't need that in our lives. I'm a happy person. I'm a good mom. I do what I need to do. I'm creative. I'm good fun. I've got a good sense of humor. I don't need that. So that was quite an interesting energy. It may be that somebody has to be taught not to do that, or it may be that you need to let that person go completely. So that you don't have to deal with that. Now, Capricorn, one of my favorites for this month is actually Capricorn. I want to be Capricorn this month. So if we've got any Capricorns, let me know so that at the end of the generalized reading, I can apply it to you. So the main influence is dreams. How wonderful is that? Dreams. Beautiful. If you know a Capricorn, go along on a little journey with them this month. Get into their creative mind this month. It'll be fun. It mightn't get you where you want to go. It mightn't get them where you want to go, but it'll be fun. And I think there's times we just need to do that. You need to watch out for distraction. Well, with these dreams, I kind of figured that's auto. I tried to step sideways, right? I tried to step sideways and see if there was another word because they were too in line, but nothing else came. So we left it there, and I just figured that the dreams, it's like daydreaming, so it's very hard to stay in the moment and stay on point when you're daydreaming. You're very welcome, Dolores. Fantastic. Thanks for dropping by. The strength card that we've got for you is support, that you're able to support others. You're able to support yourself, Capricorn. It's a very nice energy. I know that it's very easy for you in general to be supportive of people that you love, but this feels like that word encouragement. If somebody comes and goes, I think I'd like to do this. I see you telling them you can do that. Do you need me to help you work out the best way to do that? It's not just paying lip service to people, and it's not just about people you care for. It may even be that you end up having this month that big conversation with a person who's very negative and down on themselves, and then a little bit you'll find it's energy, not because you're just doing it, but because you see the results of it. It feels very good. You may have noticed that I'm seeing those words results a lot around October. It's that kind of energy that anything you put into will give you a result. If not, it's going to be good for everybody. If you put some bad juju into something, you're going to get the bad juju back. And you're going to possibly need to acknowledge that's how you got it. Strength is the support, and the weakness is loneliness. I've got this feeling of feeling a bit lonely this month, Capricorn. So you may need to address where that comes from, how you got it, especially if you've got family around you. But if you're on your own, this could bite really significantly this month, that you might find that you want to distract yourself. So that's what to watch out for too. It might be that you look for distraction. You might go and play endless Bejeweled or whatever those games are. You might just do that endlessly and lose the energy of this month in trying to distract yourself or allowing yourself to be distracted by other people's problems. You can support a person without necessarily becoming overly involved. We've got the Lovers, always a great card. It means that you need to make the best choices this month, not just a choice this month. So do weigh up your options. That's what the Lovers is always about. Weigh up your options. Look at what's best for you. Choose that one. That will always work. I think because of the dreams and that feeling a bit lonely, that the Chariot card is out for you, because it means it's easy to lose control. Loneliness, if you let it overwhelm your mind, you might find yourself playing maudlin music. You might find yourself listening to dead rap or somebody, blah, blah. You might find yourself wandering off and listening to anything dark, wearing dark clothes, locking yourself in on a beautiful day. Try and force yourself not to do that this month. Try and force yourself to look at your loneliness and then move past it rather than doing whatever it is you usually do. What do you usually do? Do you feel lonely and open a bottle of wine, and halfway through the bottle of wine you're half drunk, you haven't eaten dinner, and now you just want to cry, boo-hoo, What do you do when you feel that way? Because everybody feels that way at some point. So it's really important for you to work out the best way to manage your feelings. That's everybody, really. The best way, rather than the way you've always done it. We've got the wonderful Queen of Wands upright at the stage, so you do know what's best for you. She's always really, I like her under the Lovers because she makes the decision that's best for her. She was Helen, when it was the choice of the Lovers. She chose the lover that was right for her, even though it wasn't her husband, and it caused a war. And that's the energy of the Queen of Wands, is that, you guys sort yourself out because I know what's right for me. I like that as an energy. It's not a bad energy at all. She's lighting her own path, lighting her own way, but it is an action card, and it is the Queen, so that means she's got a good idea of the best way to get herself moving forward. And there we've got that little bit of unreliable energy with the Knight of Cups. While I don't have the unreliability that I got with it in an earlier sun sign, I have got the charmer. So you're quite capable of charming people. So it'd be a wonderful person to spend time with this month because, one, it will help them not feel lonely if you've got a Capricorn in their life, but also if you encourage them to share their dreams with you, the dreams, like nightly dreams, not just dreams and goals, but, their daydreams or those visions that they're having. It's a lovely experience, a lovely energetic sharing. It can make you closer and form deeper bonds. Really pretty energy. I really like it. Gemini. the main influence for you is time. Time, when I get into the time warp thing, it's like there's too much time, there's not enough time, time runs away. Where did time go? I lost time. Can I make up time? Am I on time? Am I in time? Whoa, that's Gemini this month. You're going to hate it. What is it to watch out for is misconduct. Now, that can be you or somebody else's. So misconduct's a little bit more serious than, just somebody opposing you or having a wee argument or a bit of conflict. Misconduct is somebody doing something wrong. So watch out for that. If it's in your workplace, you might see somebody stealing, for example, and not be quite sure what to do about that. It could be you engage in misconduct, but because it's in this what to watch out for position, it can come around you, not from you necessarily. You may see somebody hit a car, and not leave their information, hit and run type information. So you may find yourself in a kind of policing position through October or at some point in October, while you have to decide, who do you tell? Do you tell? Do you let them know that you saw them? Or maybe they know that you saw them, those kind of things. So it's an interesting energy. If you do know a Gemini around you, be doubly careful if you're going to be naughty, because they will spot you. If you are that Gemini, you may need to really take into account the consequences of saying and not saying something. If somebody knows that you witnessed a misconduct of theirs, the problem with that, if they know that you saw them, is you better do something about that, because they've just made you complicit in their misconduct. And they will do it in front of you again, because those sort of people always really like an audience. They really like to have somebody on side. The strength is accumulating. If you want to get rich this month, to do it, but don't hoard. No, it's a strength. It could be accumulating, can be a hoarding energy, but as a strength, it feels like you've got the ability to put your money in the bank this month. You've got the ability to save it, to put it aside. You've got the ability to gather your resources into one space, find that really nice deal. If you're looking for furniture, you may be able to go out and just find that it's the perfect price or it's exactly what you want. So it's an accumulating month rather than nesting, because I've got money in there as well. As a weakness, I've got obsession. So if you've got accumulating an obsession, although I didn't get hoarding for you, it can mean that if you collect teacups or if you collect teaspoons or whatever, you may find yourself just going a little crazy this month and bringing those energies into your home. If you're keen on a partnership, and you want to accumulate friendships and so on, you might get a little bit manic around that, Gemini. So think a little bit about the energy you put out there. We've got the Seven of Swords. That's always going to be about dishonesty and stealth, and I totally think that that's flowing into that misconduct theme, so we don't need to go into that anymore. But I've got this anxiety, and the Nine of Swords is about that. It's in the Mythic Tarot. That's the Furies up there. They've got the snake hairdos, and they come down and you walk through the caves, and the Furies, they flit past you. It's the darkness that you see. Something cold touches your arms. That's the Furies. There's a lot of anxiety within that. So whatever you see or experience, and in particular, if you're thinking of doing it, maybe don't, and then you can save yourself all this anxiety. If you do see somebody, that's the misconduct. If you do see somebody, maybe as quickly as possible, pass that responsibility on to somebody else by telling whoever you need to tell, and then all of that can disappear quickly. Having said that, just to be clear, because it is general, you could create that anxiety by telling somebody and then worrying that it's going to come back at you. We've got the Queen of Swords. Now, she can be very cutting. She can be very discompassionate. But I think we need her this month, Gemini. Look at us, because of your time thing. You'll need to cut through the red tape. You'll need to cut away all the loose and dead wood so that you can keep in time this month. Timing will be of essence for you. If you start losing time, or if you feel you're out of time, make adjustments. Don't just keep going and plonking along in the groove that you've set for yourself. Allow yourself to work that, because time, while it's your main influence, it can be your friend or it can be your enemy, depending on how you take that. And again, we've got this releasing energy. So we've got all of these wands through sun signs. We've got this releasing energy through a number of them. Now, as we've got that, again, I'm looking at, I just sort of, that's the obsession. If you've got an obsession over a person or something or a behavior or something in your past, now's a really good month to let it go, because it's a weakness that isn't necessarily going to be easy for you, but as a weakness, it means you'll be able to see it, you'll be doing it, and so releasing it becomes a lot easier when you know exactly what's going on. So not too bad. I don't think it's a hard energy month for you, by the way. I just want to be clear, it looks that way. I just think that there may be one or two events this month that bring some of these energies into play, but they won't be new energies. So there you are. That goes there. I didn't get any Gemini stepping up. So the next one we've got is Leo. If there's any Leos, just let me know and I can personalize that for you. Now, Leo, we've got the main influence is food. If you're watching your weight and you happen to be a Leo this month, you might want to just go sideways and not worry too much about that, or you won't feel good for the whole month. You may find that everywhere you go, because it's the main influence, that there's food there. There may be a number of social activities. There may be things going on that everywhere you go seems to be about food. Every TV ad you see seems to be about food, or you're around people talking about food, or meeting in cafes, that kind of energy. It's all about the food. And it's not about self-indulgence necessarily. So do take that on board too. It doesn't mean that you can't cope with it. I'm just saying you may need to strategize. What to watch out for? Missed opportunities. And this is really important. If you are so focused on, say, getting somebody into bed, you may miss the person that really cares for you over here, off to the left there. If you're so focused on partying and socializing, you may miss the very thing you needed to take on board at work or at home, because you're not in the right place at the right time. So think about that. What could constitute a missed opportunity, and how can you look for that to make sure you don't? Now, the other side of that coin is there may be somebody interested in you, whether it's for work or personal reasons, who presents you with an opportunity, or you give them an opportunity. You let them know you're interested and they don't take it. So it's a two-way street with what to watch out for. Strengths. We've got the gift of the gab. Yay. You'll be able to talk anybody into anything. So if you want to go to the pub and you're underage, go with the Leo. They'll be able to get you in there. If you're going to get caught by the cops, let the Leo do the court talking. It's like I mention cops so often, and we all sound really bad, right? We must all be naughty. But yes, if there's anything like that, if there's an authority figure, if it's the boss, if you want to step up to the boss and say, we all need a rise, if you happen to have a Leo who is also a union rep or your supervisor, now's the really good time to ask them if they can achieve something for you, because they'll be able to do it without even thinking about it. They're just going to have the charm, they're going to have the words, and it's going to work. What weakness is going to be half truths. So if you know a Leo, you may find that they tell you just enough, okay, because they got the gift of the gab going. So there's a little self-orientation in there. It's a mixed energy for Leo this month, but I think it's probably more mixed for the people around Leos. We've got a lot of action, we've got a lot of movement, so it won't be a slow month. There'll be a lot going on. We've got a reversed 10 of cups, which is going to be always difficulty appreciating things, perhaps being even a bit miserly. If somebody does something for you, forgetting to say thank you, forgetting to say sort of please, forgetting to appreciate the people that are around you. There's that missed opportunities energy as well. Instead of appreciating something, what is it? The two birds in the hand are worth one in the bush, or something like that. That kind of energy where we don't see what we've got, and then we step away from that, or we just sort of miss it to such an extent that we have a look later and we think, oh my God, how did I miss that? We've got the Nine of Cups reversed. Now, the Nine of Cups is never a bad card. It's always about dreams coming true. But even in its reversed aspect, it says good things can come, but you may just have to work a little bit harder for it. Now, the strength being the gift of the gab, Leo, you're in a perfect position to work that little bit harder to get what you want. And it's not so much about the doing, it's about the saying. Say what you need to say it the right way. If you want that raise, now's the time for you to ask for it. If you want to talk to your partner about buying a new house, moving to a different country, whatever that might be, now's the time to do it. You might be able to sell them on the idea. Now, the half-truths, the missed opportunities, because that's where I've got the 10 of Swords. That's a final ending. It's all done. And it's almost like God has stepped in, the goddess has stepped in and gone, stop. This is it. You're exhausted. You've done everything you can. At this point, if it isn't going, it's never going. It's never working. So that could be the missed opportunities part of things, but also watch the gift of the gab part. You may find yourself really trying and being strenuous, trying to talk somebody into something, and you're flogging a dead horse. So do take notice of that. Now, that's us. We've worked our way through. I haven't got any Leos stepping forward and wanting a personal reading. This is a once-a-month show, Tarot Times. The next one will be in November. Oh, my gosh, getting towards the end of the year. Thank you, everybody, for coming. Keep your eyes open. I'm working with Kathleen White, this Wednesday at 9:30 p.m. Our Psychic Affairs every second week, and I'm having Altered States with Kathleen every second week. So it's a show every week, but I'm just taking some of the programming pressure off myself. So that was wonderful. Thank you very much for coming along, everybody. And remember, this week, this month even, please don't be a part of your own problem. Ciao for now.